Chloe, do you know what weekend it is?
I know what weekend it is.
What weekend is it?
It's the British Grand Prix.
No, it's the 4th of July weekend! Welcome to the cool down room. Let's talk about Silverstone. So, it was Silverstone, and let me tell y'all, everybody was there. Like,
Everybody.
the big people, like if a couple weeks ago last week when there was like when Le Mans was going on, all of the big people were at Le Mans. Now the big people are here
Yeah.
and coming out of the woodwork. Like Nicholas Latifi was DJing.
And I said who the booty is that because I don't know who the booty was that.
He used to be an F1 driver. He was really bad in like a
Oh.
way where like I mean, not to be rude, but like he wasn't very good. He was one
I
of the
feel
first drivers where, like, I think, at least in my opinion, he kind of started a chain reaction of people getting booted really fast for no reason.
oh. I
I
feel like we
honestly
need to
don't think he was that bad. Also, I mean, I think if you hire a driver for a full season, you should keep them for a full season, but that's just me.
I feel like pointing this out.
Mhm.
Elise's Brosadies reel has 11,000 views. Y'all
Stop,
are
because that is
hilarious.
terrifying. I just want to say that was a joke. And I
Y'all are
really
hilarious.
hope it is very clear that that could mean nothing, or which could mean nothing, which is what, like I said in that reel, was a joke. That's a joke. Lewis, Nico, please don't come for me. I promise I respect you both. That was a bit. That was a joke. That was a funny haha. And
But
that's in
our
my
editor,
internet footprint forever, which is going to be really fun for the law school people to see.
because we're in England, it means that it's Ollie and Arvid and George and Lando and Lewis's home race.
And
So,
technically also Alex's, but he
yes.
races under the Thai flag. So,
Yes.
um,
Which means that they had all the British drivers doing such silly things. Ollie and George were serving fish and chips with Gunther.
Well, Gunther Steiner was serving fried chicken. At one point, there was some video of Ollie and Arvid, and
Oh, it was Ollie and Arvid. I don't know
it
why
was
I
Ollie
put
and Arvid.
George.
And somebody, I don't remember who, somebody had been like, "Oh, you guys should be like, what are you guys doing serving like fish and chips? Like, what are you guys doing being racers?" And at some point, somebody was like, "Oh, you should be in college.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I saw
where did it all go wrong?" And Arvid was like, "Yeah, that's what my mom asks me."
that. He's a
Um,
disappointment, but he's not.
no, and because how like no, I'm like
Like all the F1 drivers, it's like, no, I didn't go to college. No, I actually didn't even really finish high school, but I'm making more money than anybody I went to high school with.
oh my
Anyway,
God. Sorry, I got a Twitter notification that scared the shit out of me. We're waiting on like big F1 news to drop because okay, so Will Buxton's thing was about IndyCar, but somebody else, his name is like Thomas Maher, I think he had been like, "Oh, I think the news that I know is not the same news that Will Buxton knows." And he had like tagged it with F1, so we know it's about F1. And then Will Buxton dropped a thing about IndyCar, and so it was right, but there is still an F1 announcement coming, and somebody had put up like a breaking news, and there was like a photo with like Lando with like the format of when they announced a team change, and I was like, "Oh my God, what the fuck?" But
I
no,
don't think there
it's
was
just
an interview with
him
Lando over
going
the
him
weekend.
being at McLaren.
Bruh, I hate when they do that.
Freaking fake out. Their name
Yeah,
is Ray.
anyway,
Shout
we're back
out.
to sprint races.
Anyway,
Silverstone isn't usually a sprint race, but for some reason this weekend it was. I
it
just
has
need to
not been a sprint
clarify.
race since 2021. I
I've
know
been
we're
watching
switching them out sometimes, but like, please.
I've been watching F1 for like a little over a year and a half now, and I still don't understand the point of sprint races. I think
I
they're
don't like it.
pointless.
I don't like it.
It
Also,
makes no
apparently the
sense.
sprint race for F2 was longer than the F1 sprint race. So like, I don't really know what's up with that.
Anyway,
Anyway,
this race also was over American Independence Weekend, like we said, with the 200th anniversary of America, which means that Cadillac had a livery that was red, white, and blue, even though not a single American driver in sight. The reserve
Valtteri was
driver,
really
yes,
into it.
he
Valtteri
was
was
really into it,
really
which I
into
think
that
is
red, white, and
funny.
blue.
Yeah, McLaren's livery was white and green for the original McLaren, which I liked. It reminded me of a bottle of toothpaste, and I'm not ashamed to say that.
I thought of Sprite.
Maybe.
I was
Yes.
thinking of like those old Sprite bottles because they
Yes, but it
used
was
to be
like
green.
catching me off guard all weekend because I was looking for a white Cadillac and an orange McLaren and not a blue, red, white, and blue Cadillac and a white McLaren.
Yeah. No, that's
Anyway,
valid.
every year during Silverstone, there's like some like a viral thing going on. This year, there was a little boy in the paddock dressed in a George custom racing suit. I heard his name was George. I don't know if that's true. He's like 4. He has little glasses. Little kids in glasses are my favorite things on the face of the earth. And all of the drivers posted about him because he was getting all of their
Stop.
signatures. And they were all like, this is the cutest thing ever.
That's so cute. I
Adele was in,
My brother has my birthday present to my brother for his third birthday was I ordered this shirt off of Etsy that says his first name on the front in like little letters and his our last name on the back in big letters, and it's like a McLaren. It's a Mercedes like jersey basically, and there's a
mhm,
little American flag on it because it's meant to look like they're like team kits and stuff, and it's so stinking cute, and I kind of want to get him a full race suit, but he wants a Paw Patrol blanket, so I'm making him a Paw Patrol blanket.
naturally.
Because he loves Paw
Adele was
Patrol.
in the McLaren
Um,
garage this
Speaking of
weekend.
Paw Patrol,
She's
sorry,
hilarious.
I'm so
No, you're
sorry,
good.
but
No, you're good.
speaking of Paw Patrol, F1 X Paw Patrol episode 1, because that would
Oh,
rock
you
it.
texted me about that.
I did text you about that. I'm sorry, that would rock. I
It
want to see
would.
Rock. My brother's been watching too much Paw Patrol in front of me because why am I like I want to see Rocky in the pit lane?
Yeah.
Okay, lock in. This is a long one. It was a
Yeah.
wild ass race, so this is a long one.
Adele was in the McLaren garage. She's hilarious.
She's
If you didn't know,
amazing.
she is hilarious.
That video of her being like, "Oh, it's an honor to be here at 7 a.m. on a Thursday morning in full fucking glam at 7 a.m. on a Thursday
Yep.
morning."
We also need to mention that the race last week was so boring, we forgot to mention who won.
It was
Completely
George, my
forgot.
goat.
Yeah.
George, I
Immediately
love
after we
you.
finished recording, I texted Elise and was like, wait, something's missing.
Something's missing.
And that was really funny. We were so excited to stop talking about that race that we forgot to mention that he won.
Yeah. And I will say, in a sharp contrast, our notes up until the race are about 4 pages long. Our notes for the race are 4 pages.
Yeah, like just the race.
Just the race is 4 pages of notes. So we gotta lock
Anyway,
in.
practice
Practice one.
one. I said, why is it called practice one when it's the only practice again?
I guess
That
just
was just me
keeping.
being like a grammar freak and being like, they should just call it practice. But anyway, that was just
They
like,
really should just call it practice, but it's like the same reason why like they say like thousandths of a second when you could just say milliseconds.
yeah,
Like it's
Europe is
a
weird.
keeping the format thing, which is kind
Anyway,
of dumb in my opinion, but whatever.
in case we were unaware, which I feel like we mentioned this last weekend, Europe is going through a heat wave, as is most of the world right now.
Yeah.
However, on the practice day, it was 70 degrees Fahrenheit outside. You can't call that a heat wave. I know the
It
track
was
temperature is
hotter
100
here
degrees.
yesterday.
Yeah, here too. I
It's
know
hotter
that
out right now.
I know
Get
that the
good.
track temperature is like over 100. I know. But for the spectators, it's like 75 degrees. That's not a heat wave, that's just summer. Sorry, English people. It is.
It's just summer. I don't understand why we're complaining. I love the summertime.
Yeah. Lando went off and his time was deleted like
Which,
immediately.
okay, I heard. I'll talk about the other thing in a minute. I heard him go off like in the highlights because I was not awake at 4:30 in the morning, unfortunately. I like you could hear it skitter.
Oh yeah, it was bad.
It was bad. You ever just hear something nasty? Like
Yeah.
when people chew,
Mm-hmm.
like it was like that. Like it was like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I learned
I'm.
a fun fact,
Do you
which is
have
that
a cowboy hat in the background by your lava lamp?
that's a candle. It's from San Diego, actually. That's really ironic. My sister got that for me when she went on spring break there last year.
Oh, that's
It's a
cute. Where did
candle,
you get it?
some tourist store down by the
Yeah, that
beach, I think.
tracks. That makes
Anyway, I learned that the Lando stands hold 16,000 people. And if you didn't know, there were 500,000 people in attendance for the
It
race.
was the most, I think, of any F1 race ever.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And what a race to be at. Oh my
No,
God.
for real. Alex went way off and his time got deleted. What are we doing here?
Why are we deleting times in practice? Like, I know that, like, it's in the rules or whatever, but I actually don't know if it is.
Yeah.
because maybe I'm going insane, but I was under the impression that in the past, during practice, when you go off track, it doesn't matter. They don't delete your
Yeah.
time because practice has no bearing on the points. In qualifying and in the race is when it actually matters because there's a bearing on points. So why are we deleting times in practice? That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Anyway, yes, I agree. Um, they told us Bono's full government name. Sam off track would agree with me. That's rude and hateful. A little graphic came up with his full government name, and I said, "That's not his name. Who's that?
His name is
I don't know who
Bono.
that
I
is."
know his full name is like Peter Bonington or whatever, but like he just
Which is the
looks like a
most British
Bono.
name I've ever heard. Anyway,
It's so British. Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
I said Oscar did a little wee off the track. And by this I mean he didn't do a pirouette. He didn't go into the wall. He just kind of what skirted off the track and then somehow came back. So I called it a
I
wee.
very briefly got my brother to watch F1 Kids, or he was no, he was in
Mm,
my room and he was watching the highlights with me, and that was the thing that I showed my brother because he like very briefly was watching some of it and I was like, "You missed it." And I had to rewind it like 3 times and then he was like, "Why did Oscar what or like why did he do that? Like what happened?" And I was like, "And honestly, I don't know." I have no idea. Um he did like I thought it was really fun. The commentators were talking about like, oh, it's really funny when like the engineers are like, "Oh, are you okay? Like, is everything good?" Because all they see is the like little line showing him plummeting to 0 miles an hour from like 160. Meanwhile, Oscar's like all four wheels locked up, trying not to crash.
yeah.
Like, no, I get it. That's funny as fuck.
hmm Checo's helmet was broken. The little vents on the top were broken, which meant that he was just getting like way too much air in his helmet, which meant that there was like air
Which,
just around his eyes. So he asked them to get the spare helmet for him because it was like fully broken.
um, George. Yeah, no, like that just sucks. Like that's not even something where
Yeah,
like you
that's
can
gotta be
bear
so
it.
uncomfortable.
That just sucks. Like that is a box offense.
Yeah,
That is a box actually.
yeah.
I would
And then
box.
Carlos was being a little Mr. Nosy, and he was like, "How much lap time are people finding on soft tires?" And his engineer told him 1 second, and then he just went quiet. And I was like, "Okay,
And also the fact that it was like, sorry, I'm really fucking tired. I haven't had coffee today. Um, it was like we predict 1 second. It wasn't even
yeah."
like 1 second, you know?
hmm Anyway, Lewis fastest lap, then Kimmy, then Charles, and I said I can work with that.
I
Green
can
blunt
work with
rotation.
that. Trying to make it so
Anyway,
it's just his eyes. I'm, yeah, I'm
my
a little,
Charles one is at college, because also I have too many stuffed animals on my bed here, and he would just look out of place.
no, that's so valid. I
But
have a
George's, it's
very,
like the one eye help. That's so funny.
I have a very pink room and
Me too.
I have very, like, my walls are pink. My bedding is pink. I have a pink and orange blanket on my bed. Like, everything, my cat's cat tower, Susie's cat tower is pink. My rug is pink. Everything is pink. And while there is still work to be done in this room, I do think it's hilarious that it's pink. And then you look at my bed and all the stuffed animals are a lot of different colors. Like,
Yeah.
I have my Eeyore
hmm
from childhood. I have a Snuffleupagus around here somewhere. Um,
Yeah.
I got him in
Oh.
Japan and I love him.
Anyway, Sprint
Anyway,
quali.
uh, nothing
Nothing
interesting
happened.
happened.
Literally nothing.
Nothing freaking happened.
It was giving, I hope you're ready for nothing.
For nothing. The only thing that happened was that it was Haas, Cadillac, and Aston Martin out in that order. And then Ollie goes Ollie's engineer goes, "Okay, Ollie, that's P17," and you just hear beep. And I was like, you know what? Real as fuck.
Yep.
Real as hell.
SQ2, Lewis kept going into provisional pole and then back out again. And I was like, do not give us hope like that unless you're gonna win.
Do
I love you.
not give
Don't do
us hope
that.
like that.
Um,
Can't.
and then Kimmy was like, they were like talking about Kimmy possibly taking over P1. And the commentators go, Antonelli might be able to change that? No, is the answer to that question.
I have no notes for SQ1. Like,
Yeah. And then Gabby and Nico were in SQ2. And after the top three after SQ2 is the same as it was after practice. And you know what? Hell yeah. That doesn't usually happen.
That never happens, to be
Yeah.
honest.
SQ3, they said this is the yellow flag guy about George.
I
What
don't
does
even
that mean?
know what that means. Like, why?
They were
That's just
talking,
such an odd way to phrase that.
it really is.
Because they
And
were
then
trying to be like, oh, like he'll put everything together at like the last possible second or whatever, but like, why would you say it like that?
no, for real. And then the podium was like switching up a lot. And then Max came out of the literal nowhere into P3. Just like spawned into
Yeah.
P3.
He just gotta
Anyway,
shut up.
sprint race, since we have so much race, we'll just fly through everything else.
Yeah. And there
Also, I
goes
need something
Pascal.
to be clear. Mm. In the sprint race, to the commentators, so much happened. So much is happening. To me, nothing's happening. They're literally just racing. Like, come
Yeah.
on.
And I feel this way. I do feel this way about most of the weekend except for the race. Like I think it's great and all and it's exciting, but it's a lot more intense when you're there in person. And so for
Yeah.
the commentators, like they're super excited. They're like, "Oh my God." And you're watching it and you're like, "Cool.
You're like,
They're driving." Like,
great.
great. Because the energy isn't the same. Like
Yeah.
there you can hear like the crowd and all of that stuff, and they're really good at like keeping up their energy. But like even like I watched the race in theaters, like even there was
Oh my
Susie's
God.
mascot appearance.
Susie appearance.
Um, Watching the race like with a lot of other people was a very different energy and was a lot more exciting than it would have been. Oh, watching it, Susie, your butt is on camera. Watching it like alone in my room, you know?
Yeah. We need to clip this because first official mascot appearance on the
First
podcast.
official mascot appearance. Susie, what are you looking at? Being nosy and looking at the neighbor's yard?
Um, George passed both McLarens in a row, and it was very satisfying. He went around one corner and passed one McLaren, and then went around to the next corner and passed the other McLaren.
Yeah.
They also started comparing Kimmy and Lewis, which I hate when they compare Kimmy to like any other driver because I'm just like, he's a child.
He's
This
a
is his second
child
year in
and
F1.
he's 19 and doing really well, and the other drivers in his age group are, frankly, not in the big four. And so
Yeah,
they're not in like that. Like, okay, I think Kimi is a great driver. Do I think that he would be in the same position if he was at Haas with Ollie? Absolutely not. Part of it is
hmm
that the Mercedes is great. Like,
yeah,
you can put a great driver in a slow car and they're gonna suck, and you could put a bad driver in a fast car and they're gonna do great.
yeah.
And like, yes, I get that like Kimmy and Lewis have been fighting a lot lately, but like it's so like it is the past and the future of Mercedes.
hmm
So
Yeah.
like it should be more, I don't know, like I guess I get why they compare them, but like ugh.
hmm
Also like
Yeah.
way to make Lewis feel old every time
No,
they
for
do.
real.
Fully they go, Lewis was well into Formula 1 when Kimmy was taking his first breaths on planet Earth. Wow. Like,
Wow.
way to make all of us feel so fucking old. I am the
Yeah.
same age as Kimmy and feel old. Like,
hmm This is a silly little note of mine. Every single corner at Silverstone is named, and one of the
and
corners
all of
is
the
called
straights are
Wellington.
too.
hmm
All of the
One of
straights are
the
named.
corners is named Wellington. And whenever they drive through that part, the commentators say through the Wellington, and that makes me giggle.
No,
And I
that's
wonder
valid.
how Gordon Ramsay feels about that.
A beef Wellington kind of sound. I've never had a beef Wellington, but it does sound
Me
baller.
neither.
It does
Yeah.
sound good. And also just like the concept of a driver. Now I'm thinking about a driver driving through a beef Wellington, and that makes me laugh. That makes me
Get
laugh as
a
I'm
little
totally
graphic
straight
here.
faced. As I am straight faced. Um, our mascot is sitting in my lap right now.
Aw. Kimmy passed Lewis, and it made me so sad. But my God, it was so gorgeous. And then
It's beautiful.
Isaac tapped Liam, and Isaac went, "Mate, that was crazy!" Like in that exact phrasing, just with like
Okay,
a French accent.
I think okay. We had to talk about this because I honestly could not tell who tapped who, and I think it might have been like a weird combo of like Liam moving at the same time that Isaac did, so they kind of tapped each other, but Liam was the one that got noted for it because Liam goes to
Mm,
the stewards and thank you Twitter user, and I can't believe I'm saying these words out loud, Omega Liam for
right.
bringing this to my attention, but they posted like a screenshot of the steward like report or whatever.
Hmm.
And Liam had to go to a hearing with the stewards to like defend himself, and he showed up with Isaac, and Isaac basically played Liam's lawyer and was
Damn.
like he didn't do nothing, he didn't try that, like that wasn't on purpose, da 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 da, and defended him, and I think that's beautiful.
Yeah. Kimmy, if you want to clap if you're shocked. Anyway, I really wanted Lewis to win that one, but that's okay. I never went to quali, for which we actually have notes this time. We never
For
had anything
what?
to say about quali. For once, the highlight reels are all the same length, which was kind of beautiful. Because I was like, wow, something did happen this weekend. Um, Apparently somewhere in quali, Charles asked if he could go to the bathroom in between sessions, and his engineer was like, yeah, but make it a quick one. And he like
Yeah.
jumped out of the car. Um,
No, valid, but also like there was something a while back. I want to say it was Lewis was talking about like if you drive, you pee right before you get in the car because you're
oh
in there for
yeah.
like an hour and a half and you have to drink a lot of water.
Yeah.
And so by the end, like they gotta pee real bad.
And someone almost hit Oscar as he was coming out of the pit. I don't know who it was, but he
I
was
didn't
joking
see
about
it, so
how
I don't know who it was either.
he was grateful he was wearing black underwear. And I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Oh, I don't like that.
Yeah. Because it
I don't
scared him so bad.
I don't love that.
Anyway, Q1, Gabby said it's very gusty on the start finish line, just for your information. Quite literally giving his team an FYI. He's like, just so you know,
so
it's
literally.
windy out here.
It's like those people on TikTok who are like, by the way, every single time.
Oh yeah.
Like, no matter what they say, or like, hope this helps.
Yeah.
Those people piss me off.
Carlos locked up and they went in the bin, and his lap time went in the bin, and I just think that's the most British saying ever because they
I
don't say
should,
garbage bin, they don't say trash can, they say the bin.
we should both start using that phrase more.
We really
If your
should.
note says I'm going to start using that phrase more, I should start using it more too.
Hmm.
I love that
That
phrase.
yeah, we had
Um,
so much gravel content this weekend. It was crazy.
so much gravel content. And can I say, by the way, I don't remember any of Quali. I watched it live and I don't remember it. Um, so George went into the gravel and he got out, but my heart like stopped.
Yeah.
And
It pissed me
um
off. In the highlights reel, they're like talking about George in the gravel, George in the gravel. He's like in the little left-hand corner picture, not in the main picture. The main picture, they're showing like Max or somebody, like
yeah.
completely irrelevant. And I was like, hello.
No, literally. Also
You can't
like
just,
Jesus. And like I was so stressed watching that because because he was in the drop zone. Like he went into the drop zone and I thought he was gonna be done because he had to go in the pits because he messed up his front wing, like going into sorry, my nose
mm-hmm.
is really stuffy.
No, you're good.
Going into the gravel. And they replaced his nose and his front wing, and he's got 8 minutes. And I'm like, George, if you don't get the fuck out there. And then he did, and it was fine, but it was terrifying. Like it was genuinely so scary.
And he said, oh, that's really weird. I've never locked up there. And Elise put really weird in one word together. And that's perfect because that's exactly how George speaks. He goes, oh, that was really weird. He
And
says it
that
like
was a
that.
typo. And that was not intentional in any way, shape,
But
or
that's
form.
how
I'm
he
glad that
said
you
it.
enjoyed it.
He's like so British. He says it in one word. He goes, that was really weird.
I good
Anyway,
for George. George is the most British man in the world. Like that man just
he
should be
so
the Queen of
is.
England.
He really should.
Should be King of England, not
Honestly, Queen
whatever
at
that
this
man.
point, he's such a diva.
He's so diva. He can be queen and king.
He's
Um,
just the matriarch of London. That's what he is.
he's the matriarch of London. George is whoever he
And
wants to be. He's the spirit of London. I don't
yeah.
think he's even from London.
Franco flew off the track. He spun
Yeah,
off in one direction, then went completely in the other direction, hit the curb, got some air. That was
it was
crazy. It
not
was,
great. Uh,
he said I lost it, completely lost the rear. And I was like, no kidding.
no, literally. Gabby, dude, Gabby was stressing me out because he was in the garage like basically the entire time, didn't have a lap time, and then he went out with like 2 minutes left and made it into Q2.
That's crazy.
I was big stressed for him.
Also, Franco, even though he like completely went all over the place, he was in P19. He didn't DNF because his car wasn't really damaged. He was
Oh,
still mind he got out, but like
yeah.
it didn't say like DNF next to his like name. It just said P19 and I was like, "Oh, okay." So the Cadillacs are still doing worse than an Alpine that completely spun off track and got air.
Stop. Don't say that.
Um
That makes me so sad.
Q2, Elise and I don't like Zach Brown.
Why is he
I
talking? Like, I know they're doing interviews, but like, ugh, why is
but
Zach
like
Brown
ew.
talking?
And then Max was like, yeah, the engine's not responding normal. Poor Max. Um, George needed the spare seat. They didn't tell us why.
They really did not tell us why. Um, his
He went into the
like his
garage and was like,
engineer
"Can I
was
have it?"
confused.
His engineer was like, yes." Of all the things he could ask for.
No, literally. Um, and then one of the commentators goes, "Keep your expectations down for Lindblad." Okay, valid point. He's a rookie and he's in RB. But also, I don't remember who said it, but he was talking about how well Arvid is doing.
Yeah.
So like, why are we phrasing it like
But that's
that?
like a weird way to phrase it. Anyway,
And also like he's doing well.
yeah, he's doing really well.
He's doing such a good job. Um, oh my God, Gabby.
Poor Gabby.
Well, because Gabby, they go, you are P11, you are currently P11 after Q2, and that means he got knocked out. So Gabby was like, oh, sorry, team. Gabby, you're in an Audi.
Yeah,
I certainly don't expect you to be in the top 10.
for real.
I'm, and maybe it's rude to say, but I don't expect it.
Q3, they called this the business end of qualifying. Hated that.
Hated
Never
that.
say that
Big
again.
no.
Um,
Big no.
the white McLaren keeps catching me off guard because I kept thinking it was a Cadillac, and then I was like, why is the Cadillac in the top five? And then I was like, nope, that's McLaren. It's just white. Um, and then they said something about they were like, oh, Hamilton's doing really well. He's been inspired this weekend. And I was like, maybe he wants to win his home race? Maybe?
He said Kim is making him happier. Like he was like, "Oh, like she's making me like a happier man." And like that's great and all, but also it is his home race. So like
Yeah. There was like a
maybe
thing
he
on the
wants to
Fan
win.
Expo where they were asking Lewis if the reason he's been doing better is because the car is getting better. And then George was like, or is it because he has a girlfriend?
And can I just say one thing that is definitely an inside thought, but is about the girlfriend effect as a whole?
Yeah.
I've texted you this. The girlfriend effect is post nut clarity.
Yeah.
Like it's not that like a girlfriend like makes things better or whatever. I mean, women are amazing and women always make things better, but like it's that like the girlfriend effect,
Yeah.
and maybe that's insane to say, but I think I'm right. Starting with the Lego race.
Because that was
Why
spectacular.
why did MBS do the Lego race? Why did Mohammed Ben Sulayem do the Lego race?
I
And why
wanted to know
did
who
they
that was
all
too.
think that cutting across the gravel in those cars would work?
Yeah, because everyone got beached. It was like Ollie and
Everybody,
Kimmy and Charles. They
most of
all
them
tried to
beached.
they all tried to cut a corner so that they could win, and every single one of them got beached, had to get out of their car and then have people push their car onto the track again. And it was
Bro.
really funny because it was like immediately after it started.
And then Fernando won, which is incredible.
Yeah.
Catherine.
Also, Carlos was fully sitting on Lando's car, which mind you, these were like individual go-karts, not like
Yeah.
Miami of last year where it was like a big thing. And so they literally just
Hi,
sat. He
Susie.
sat on the edge of Lando's car because his got beached and he
Yeah.
didn't want to try to like revamp it. And so that was really funny because Lando was going fast. Also those things were not stable because if you saw V carb, they put like phone stands on them for Liam and why did I forget who it was? Arvid.
Arvid.
And it's like violently shaking when they go over the gravel. Like his phone fell out of the tripod on the gravel.
Oh,
Um, like into his lap, but he was like, "Oh my God." And then Ollie crashed into the back of Gabby, which I feel like that's just comedic relief because they're like
no, literally.
besties. But yeah, Fernando won, and people were like, "Oh my God, guys, he's having fun in karting again." But yeah,
I
Oscar was
mean,
also all by himself the entire
oh,
time
buddy.
because he was going so fast. He was whipping it in that thing.
Hell yeah. He
Also,
knows how
Matt,
to look, and you know what? He knows how to
Mhm.
drive a tractor.
But he looked
And
really
those Lego
sad
cars do not go fast. Oh,
because
wait,
everybody,
Oscar or Fernando?
Oscar, he
Oh,
was
yeah.
he was all by himself in the front. But also Max and Liam were driving so close together and going so slowly that they were having a full yap session the
That's
entire
so
time.
deeply funny. That's
Anyway,
very, I would say that's me, excuse me. I would say that's me core, but it's really not because when I'm in a go-kart, I start yelling at people. I am
yeah,
like violently yelling in kart because I know they can't hear me. I am like yelling at other people and being like, get the out of my way. I
yeah,
get road rage, but only in go-karts.
yeah,
Chloe knows that's not true. I do
yeah.
get a little bit of road rage on an actual road, but in go-karts, it is 100 times worse. Somebody mic me up on a go-kart.
Or
Don't do
don't.
that, actually. I it would be really fun if they did, but you know.
Anyway,
Okay.
at
Anyway,
least this was the one time this summer, besides Canada, that I was actually awake for an F1 race and I had work, and Elise got to go to AMC.
yep. I will say I had a lot of notes for this because I was running on 4 hours of sleep. And okay, so we get home at like 12:30. I shower, I get in bed, it's 1 a.m. By the time I go to bed, I managed to get up at like 5:15 because it was like $30 for this, so I'm not like not going,
Hmm.
right? I get up, I go to Plaza Bonita, I go through the drive-through at the Starbucks on the way. They know me there. I'm a regular by now. It's bad, okay? I get to the AMC. I am exhausted. I am borderline falling asleep and trying to live tweet all of this. I end up buying candy because I'm so tired, trying to keep myself awake. So it was rough, but it was worth it.
And I was
And then
getting
I
live
got home and
updates.
I slept for 2 hours.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway, um,
the Lando stand, they look like minions. They're all
they look like
wearing
minions.
they're wearing like
Um,
neon yellow hats and like jerseys, and it looks like
there
a sea of
were
minions.
so many of them. It was just a sea of neon.
Yeah,
There's so many of them. Which like valid, but also like
yeah.
holy shit. Why is neon the color that we picked?
No, for real.
Um it's
There
not
was a
like
man
I
in
can't even tell if it's neon yellow or neon green.
yeah.
It's just neon.
There
Um
was a man in the Lando stands with a neon yellow jersey on that said Hamilton on the back. And people were applauding him for that because it looked like he blended in with everybody else, but he had fully customized neon yellow Hamilton merch.
why are you in the Lando stand?
I think that's hilarious though, probably because they
I
were
think that's
cheaper.
funny. Oh yeah. No, that's pro yeah. I wonder if it was like one of the versions of that was cheaper. Anyway,
Anyway,
Fernando stopped in the formation lap. It's fine because he started again, but he like stopped on track and I just started laughing. I
yeah.
just started like laughing hysterically.
Lewis and Charles were in P1 and P2 like immediately. Isaac was up George's ass
No, literally, like they were
because
literally like, oh, and like they said something about like I Isaac being like up the behind. Like that was how I think that was how they phrased it. Okay.
and then okay,
Yellow flag.
Alex
Basically
touched
immediately.
Ollie's left back tire, and the commentators in the highlights reel, one of them is talking about Isaac and George,
Mm.
and the other one fully like cuts him off, and he's like, "Sorry, but this is also happening."
No, literally. It
And
was
it's
really
really
fun.
funny.
Alex got a 10-second penalty, which kind of feels like a lot, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like that feels like a lot. And then Oscar box for front wing damage, and
How
nobody
the
knew how it
booty
happened.
did
Like
that
even
happen?
later
Nobody
on,
knows.
the commenters were like, "Why did he box?" And we were like, "We don't fucking know."
Literally, we don't even know what happened. He just was in the box.
I
Elise,
have a
what's wrong
note
with
here that says, "What the fuck is wrong with Nico?" And I don't know. Like now, I'm like, I have no idea. He might have been in the pits like really early. That must have been
yeah.
why. Um, Oscar went in to get his front wing changed. Alex was so far back. Oscar was in P21 getting his front wing changed. while Alex was in P22 actually driving, and when Oscar came out of the pits, he was still in P21.
That's crazy.
It was bad. Uh,
Lewis got a 5-second penalty for moving before the lights went out, and I just can't help but say that he got a little excited. He was excited
it
to race his home race,
I
and
was
he got a
excited.
little excited and he pushed the gas pedal too early.
And you know what? And honestly, I don't think he even really deserved it because
Yeah,
he like it wasn't a full rotation of the tires. It was
yeah.
not. I watched that video. He doesn't deserve it.
Zach
Zach
Brown is
Brown came
back.
back
I said, as an American, I can safely say I don't like him the day after Independence Day, mostly because he's also American and a man
and a
and a
Trump
Trump supporter.
supporter. Um, he doesn't even know. They literally were like, "Oh, how did Oscar damage his front wing?" And he goes, "I don't know." And the commentator goes, "Thank you very much for clearing that up."
Oh, wow.
Incredible line. I love some sarcasm. Uh, lap 15, Arvid about Liam. Can you tell him to hurry up, please? Which I think is
Speaking of
hilarious.
sarcasm,
Speaking of sarcasm, but also like apparently the other day or last week, last week, either Isaac or Arvid like ignored, I want to say it was Arvid, ignored team orders um
hmm,
to like keep his position against Liam.
I see. Lap 22 virtual safety car for an umbrella. This is the most British thing I've ever heard because they're carrying umbrellas for the heat, not for the rain. And
Mhm.
that poor person must be humiliated for the rest of their life because their umbrella blew out onto the track
Yeah.
and like sent out of her. Just like
And it
imagine
was
being that
neon too.
person.
Like you couldn't miss it because it was a Lando stand umbrella. It was neon and yellow. And so there is no way that anybody
Just,
missed that shit.
but just like
You could
imagine
see
being
it
that
from across the
person.
track.
Just like imagine being that person who's like, oh no, my umbrella. And then they're like, oh my God, it's going out onto the track.
You're like, yeah, all
Oh my
right, like it's
God.
okay. Like I don't have to go grab it now, or you're like fiercely trying to get it, and then it just whoosh.
And then you're like,
Oh,
oh, well.
just the oh no, I caused a safety car. Imagine being able to say that you caused a safety car though. Like that's kind of baller.
Imagine like the drivers over the radio and they just hear virtual safety car and they're like, why? And some team engineer is just like, there's a Lando stand up. Like, I wonder how Lando reacted to that. Imagine being like, Lando, one of your umbrellas is causing a virtual safety car.
That's so funny. I hope
One
he
of your
laughed.
fans is causing a virtual safety car.
One of your
Anyway,
fans caused a VSC. Anyway, they made Lewis box.
and Elise thought that the commentator dropped the F bomb. He's just so British. It sounded like he did. I heard
Yeah.
it felt like a long 5 seconds
But he was
because
talking so fast and he's so British that to me, I thought he said, fuck, that's a long 5 seconds.
I mean,
When
yeah.
Lewis was like serving his time penalty because they couldn't like actually touch the car until he did. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
And also,
for
as he
sure.
pulled in, he was like screaming over the radio. He was like, my tires were still good.
My
And then still
God.
changed his tires.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, you have like 3 seconds to be like,
Yeah.
I don't want to come in and tell them why. And he really didn't have an argument. He just didn't. He was like, my tires are still good, and they still made him come in. So,
Yeah.
at lap 25, P 17 and below got lapped.
Cute.
At lap 27, Alex had been lapped twice. At that point, just leave. Just be done. Just pit and be done with it. Like,
That's
if
crazy.
I
But
got
yeah.
lapped twice, I would just be done.
Yeah. I'd be like, I'm in a box.
I'm in
Um,
a box. I'm gonna be done, actually. On lap 28, they called Arvid part like the head of the best of the rest. He like the front of the best of the rest. And I was like, dog, you called RB part of the big five during qualifying. Like
yeah.
you jokingly were like, oh, it's the big five now, like da 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 da. You can't call him the head of the best of the rest now. Stick to your
Yeah.
guns.
Max didn't have any grip on his tires. I feel like that's a common theme this season. Anyway,
Yeah. One of the commentators goes, I want whatever anti-aging pills Hamilton is on. And my immediate thought was it was a couple of years ago when George said something and Lewis goes, Black don't crack. Black don't
yeah,
crack.
Lewis is funny, and sometimes people forget that. He's hilarious.
He's so funny. Lewis is genuinely funny, but like also he's kind of trapped.
Yeah.
So
George
like
had a slow
he
puncture.
loves his job clearly, but
Yeah.
like also he's tired.
Yeah.
Um,
George had a slow puncture on his right rear shoulder. The
do you mean
commentator
tired?
kept,
See,
yes, it says
I
shoulder.
thought it was tire, but
It
maybe
is
I'm going nuts.
tire,
Yeah.
but the
His
note says
shoulder,
shoulder.
there's a puncture in his shoulder, just a little prick.
Cute. But the commentators kept saying George Russell won't like this one bit. Duh.
Duh.
And then
Ford found in kitchen.
when the engineer told him that he had a puncture, George was like, "Who, me?" And then the engineer was like, "You."
Which, like, also, mind you, he drove on that for forever. Like, he drove on that until the yellow flag. And he got the
Yeah,
puncture on lap 34, and then the yellow flag was lap 38. So he drove for 4 laps on that tire.
that's crazy.
That's my goat.
Anyway,
Yellow flag for Nico, speaking of. And he pulled over and they had to scoop him up.
and I said, "Scoop him up." That was so cute,
Um,
though. I
which is
was like,
what
"Who
they
is
said.
this?"
Okay, that was
Yeah,
the commentator's words, not mine. And then they did a virtual safety car.
another one,
Another
another
one.
one.
Um, Oh, lap 40, Lance got noted for a fifth offense for track limits. And I'm sorry, I thought it was 3 strikes and you're out. What do you mean fifth offense? Also, I
Right?
saw something somewhere that like Lance had like 21
I saw that. Yes, yeah.
like
And I was like,
track
"Whoa."
limits offenses.
I was like, "What are you doing over there?"
Yeah. So Lance got a 5 second penalty. Um, and then for a second it said that Alex was 2.5 minutes behind Nico, who was out.
That's crazy.
Like, what are we doing? The scoreboard, the like leaderboard was wild because it would show like, oh, like this and below is like got lapped once, this and below got lapped twice, like, oh, and then I would look over like a few minutes later, not even a few minutes later, and suddenly none of them had been lapped, and I was like, what's happening? Um,
Yeah.
I feel
Um,
like I need to know what's going on there.
yeah.
Um,
Lap 41, P13 and below had been lapped. Kibby
Speaking
couldn't
of
control any of his car, apparently.
P19, yeah, and at that point, P19 and below had been lapped twice. Just be done with it.
Yeah. Mind you, this was a 52 lap race. So we have 10 laps left.
We have 10 laps left. This is where it got weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so on lap 41, Kimmy says, I can't control any of the car. I'm thinking, oh no, that's bad, but like they can fix it. It's fine. He'll go into the pits, they'll fix it, whatever. Lap 42. I'm just gonna go through my thought process here. And I'm gonna read my notes almost exactly as they are, and then we'll go back to normal. Lap 42. Something is wrong with Kimmy's car, and he doesn't know what, and he pitted. I'm keeping these notes because it shows the pure insanity of those like 15 minutes. Okay. His wheel shield broke, for context. His left one broke. That's just the thing that goes around the wheel. He was in the pits for about 51 second or 41 total seconds, 15-ish second pit stop. Kimmy is retiring. This was keeping me awake. Wait, maybe not, because he just said he thinks he can keep going. He can't turn the car. You can tell Kimmy's young because he sounded a little panicked, and he did. Like he was freaking out. And like valid. But also like it showed Kimmy's age a lot. Okay, lap 43. The drivers at the back keep getting lapped and unlapped over and over again. There's something fundamental, mate. Please one more. Kimmy. He ran over a curb at Cox Corner and his wheel shield broke. That's how the wheel shield broke. We don't know what is wrong with the rest of the car. 44. They just took it out. They took out his wheel shield. Shout out to the girl next to me because she is stressed. We were stressed together. George, I need you to fucking drive because George was in like P3 at this point, I think. Lap 40, 45. There's something deeper. Kimmy is retiring, I think. Until he gets out of points, he's staying in. Because at this point, they had already said, oh, he's going to get a 5 second penalty for track limits, but but Bono hadn't told him yet, right? And so Kimmy is like, oh, I'm going to stay in until I'm out of the points because he had fastest lap. So if he gets P10 or above, he gets an extra point, and that's better. So he was like, I'm just going to stay in until I'm out of the points, right? Lap 46, again, he has fastest lap. If he sticks in P10, he'll get the point. They finally tell, I think at that point, they finally told Kimmy, oh no, they didn't yet. Okay. I feel bad. He's trying so hard. Also, the commentators are right. It's only really for if you gain an advantage, and he's clearly not gaining one. Because the commentators were like, this fucking penalty is stupid. He's clearly not gaining an advantage. Lap 47. I don't think he knows about the penalty. Lap 48. Alex is out for some reason.
For
Full
some
safety
reason.
car. Max goes off
Into the gravel, he
into
goes.
the gravel with Max. And now we're basically back to normal. Theater erupts. There were like a solid 20 to 30 of us in there.
Damn.
Theater was like you literally just heard people being like, what the fuck? And like gasp. Like I said, what the fuck? But like people being like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And like gasping. He like wiggled and he tried to straighten his wheel, and there was smoke from his tires as he was going into
Yeah.
the gravel. Like there was no saving
Also,
that.
I want to add something about Kimmy.
Yeah.
He was trying so
He was trying.
desperately to stay out. He asked his team like 4 or 5 times. He was like, please, like one more lap, one more lap. I can get the point. I
I
could
can
get the
do it.
point. And it's like very evident on the highlights when it has his like driver cam. The car is not okay.
The car's not okay, and he was trying so hard, and I felt so bad.
Yeah.
Um,
And then Max went off and there was a full safety car, so that was fun.
yeah. Um, Lewis got noted for yellow flag infringement, and then Kimmy like finally got told about his time penalty for going over track limits.
And he said, yeah, mate, but that was a joke. I didn't do it on purpose. The car was broken.
It literally wasn't his fault, and it's not like he gained an advantage, so I don't think it matters. Lap
Mind you, we're
50.
on lap 50. There are 52 laps, and they're lining up for a restart.
So, for context, like they're not like all stopping on the finish line, right? Like
Yeah.
once the safety car goes, then they'll hit goes back into the pits, they'll hit full speed, right? Okay. Lap 50. They're lining up for a restart. George, I need you to have the greatest start in the fucking world. Charles is P1. George is P2. I am praying to God George locks the fuck in, okay? Lap 51. Lapped cars are overtaking the safety car as is in the rule book. There's one lap left. The amount of stress in my body at this point, because I feel stress physically. Like I like can feel like it's not like I like get like stressed out and I'm like, oh my God, whatever. I feel it in my bones, okay? Lap 52, the safety car is supposed to be ending. It's supposed to be
But
ending and the safety car
it's
isn't going
not.
in. They have enough laps to release as per the rule book. Commenters are joking about sending his local MP a letter and I might join him. Um I
Kimmy
was
just
in shock. I
tumbled
was like,
down.
why is the safety car not going in? Why is the
No, it
safety
was
car not
so
going in?
weird,
And then they just decided to end under a safety car, even though they could have done the one
which
lap
is
shootout.
crazy.
And they're supposed to do the shootout. Like the whole thing is that if they can, like they won't end under a safety car if they don't absolutely have to, and they did not have to end under a safety car. Um, let's see. Kimmy, like they ended and Kimmy instantly tumbled down the leaderboard, and I felt so bad.
Yeah, he started crying. It was really sad.
He started crying. Um, on the other
Charles,
hand, Charles did make the funniest fucking noise I've
he
ever heard in my
won.
life.
He made a very, very niche meme reference, which if you go
Yeah.
on his Instagram, it's the very last slide on his most recent Instagram post. It's also the caption, which sounds so weird out of
It's
context.
so funny.
It was so funny.
He also referenced a meme in the cool down room.
Yeah.
The like who would have thought thing.
Who would have thought?
Toto didn't like George, excuse me. George when it ended, he was like there's something wrong with my straight line speed or something like that. Like he was like I'm just not getting a lot of speed in the straights and Toto didn't listen and basically like told him to stop complaining. Torture, you're gonna see me in your nightmares. Torture Christian Wolf, you will see me in your walls. That's a joke.
Yeah.
That's a joke. Marriott Bonvoy, that's a joke. Um, Toto, I respect you. The only thing weird about you is the fact that you're 6'5". Nothing else is wrong at all. Anyway, Ferrari team was so excited they almost knocked over the barriers in Park Ferrum, and one of them like had to catch it because Charles like ran up and did the like jump thing, and
Yeah.
they were all like applauding him and hugging him, whatever. And then one of the barriers just goes dip, and he
Also,
had to
we
like
need to
catch it.
talk about that. Charles pulled in after the finish line, and one of his engineers was joking that he should pull into the P3 like little thingy because
Yeah.
it was the closest one, so he could get out of the car. And Charles was like, "Why on earth would I do that?
It
We
would be
just
really
why
funny,
on
but
earth
also
would I do
like
that?"
it's funny
Because
when it's like you're like you've been
it
winning
was
a
really
lot of
funny, and then
races.
Lewis would have been really confused.
Well, and then
He would have
Lewis
been
takes
like,
P1 and they just switch. Uh,
"Yeah, great,
um,
end of story."
End of story. No, it's funny when you've been winning a lot. It's funny to do that when
Yeah.
you win a lot. It's not funny to do it when you don't win that much. Uh,
Also, George got P2, and he asked his family was all sitting in the grandstands except for Carmen, and he like really last minute was like, "You need to get them down here and get them paddock passes,"
yeah.
and they like
And
really last minute brought them down.
I don't know why they were in the grandstands because it looked like
Well, I think
Lewis
you
had a
only
lot
get a
of family
certain
because
amount.
Lewis's mom was in the garage and like talking to a bunch of people, and some of them were younger, so it looked like they were
Yeah.
like family members
I
of
think you
Lewis's.
only get a certain amount of VIP
That
passes, like
makes sense.
garage passes. So, and George had a lot of family there. So I'm sure he only used the one for Carmen and then
Yeah,
probably got the rest of them like VIP grandstand, but not like
or
pass
something like
passes.
that. Like they
Um,
probably limit it. They limit
but yeah, when Charles got it,
companies limit a lot. Um,
when
yeah.
Charles got into the cool down room, he just shook his head and he was like, "Who would have thought?" And George went, "Who would have thought?"
Who would have thought?
He was like, "Not me."
Not me. Poor Kimmy though. I can't help thinking about like Kimmy looked so dejected, like he didn't take his helmet off. And I was like, I think Esteban didn't take his off either, but I was like, oh my God. Like
Yeah.
Kimmy looked
Um,
so
Also,
bad.
VCarb got P6 and 7, and they were making 6, 7 jokes on social media. Anyway,
Anyway, there is
Ferrari's on the
something
podium.
beautiful.
Let's
That
go.
winner's hat is so fucking ugly, but there
It
is something
is.
beautiful about hearing Ferrari sing the Italian national anthem. This was a lot. It was a really interesting, it was a kind of a wild race, especially after last week. Let's
Oh yeah,
see.
until then, make sure to
Um,
subscribe to YouTube and Spotify. Like this video, find us on Instagram. Like Elise's Mercedes reel, I guess.
no,
See how many.
stop liking the Mercedes reel. I
Well, it's
can't
not
believe
even
I'm
that it has
saying
that
this,
many
but
likes. It's the
I can't
views.
believe I'm saying this, but stop liking the Mercedes reel. That's in my internet footprint forever now. I can never get rid of that. Stop bringing people's attention to it because that's there forever. Anybody who ever does a background check on me is gonna see that now. Um,
Anyway, there's no race next
anyway,
week, so we'll take a break.
we're gonna take a break. I'm fucking exhausted. Clearly, I think I've yawned about 10 times. Um,
But after that will be the Belgian Grand Prix,
yeah.
which last year
So
I distinctly remember doing by myself in my parents' closet.
yeah, no, that makes sense.
Anyway,
Anyway, that is all that we have for you. Like Chloe said, like this video, follow us on Spotify and YouTube. Follow us on Instagram at Ithaca Cooldown Room because there's an F1 cooldown room too. Um, and we will see you in 2 weeks for the Belgian Grand Prix. Until then, have a beautiful 2 weeks. Mwah.
mwah.